Yes.
I have a question on this. Where did the whole idea of celibacy come in the Christian faith altogether?
Where does the idea of celibacy enter into Christianity? So remember earlier I said to you that Christianity invented nothing, rather transposed everything. So the idea of celibacy is in the Christian Bible. I know this is a surprise, but it is. Paul, well, the great luminary of our people, in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 7, 8, 9, and 10, says that, look, the ideal is to be like me. Don't get married. Virgins remain that way. But if you can't control your passions, so it's better to be married than to burn. That's what it says. There's the source for it. The Catholic Church didn't come out of nowhere. The Church will insist that priests are celibate later on down the line, but this idea was very well known, and it's a dualistic idea that's all over Avodah Zarah. In idolatry, the idea, especially Persian idolatry, it would bleed into the physical world and the spiritual were thoroughly and utterly incompatible with each other. Physical and spiritual were at odds with each other. Lahavdil and Torah, it's specifically to integrate the two. The most ecstatic dream in the Torah that any person has is that of Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, our father of blessed memory, who sees a ladder that connects heaven and earth. And God, Kaviyachal, is at the top of the ladder and touching the earth to integrate the two. Joseph's dreams, the brothers sense the dreams about he's of wheat on the ground or stars in the sky, but where's the connection between the two? It was Jacob's dream where they're all connected. Shabbos, eat, make a bracha, be mekadosh to Shabbos, but integrate it. In the dualistic world, and I understand the pagan world, these things just seem completely and utterly incompatible. The physical world and the spiritual world, certainly God is above all this. Although the Greeks and the Romans respected Judaism in a sense, they could not understand why there was a concept of Tchias HaMesim, the resurrection of the dead. The Greeks had a sort of a benign relationship with the Jews, of course, until we get to Hanukkah, but Alexander the Great, after all, met Shimon HaTzadik, was the Kohen Gadol, the high priest. He was the last surviving member of the Anshe Knesset HaGedolah, the Great Assembly. Alexander the Great really marks the moment when Nevuah comes to an end and we move on. I don't want to go off topic too much. But the idea that that the body resurrects from the dead, why would you want to go back to your wretched body? And Socrates happily drinks hemlock. Cicero, a very well-known writer, can't understand the Jew in his work, the 6-volume work, his Republic, volume 6, section 2, just can't get over. Why would you ever want to go back to your body? You're done with that. The resurrection of the dead is often thought as a reward, and it is, for those who are faithful, and it says so, Daniel chapter 12, verse 2. The reason why the resurrection of the dead is important to many people is the idea of dying is very unpleasant, because dying is getting tapped on the shoulder in the middle of a party and being told that you have to leave. And the party goes on without you, which is particularly disturbing. Right? So the idea is you get to come back. Okay? I think that's how it's processed. But why the resurrection of the dead? It's because it's like a piece of wood that's made and shaped into a barrel and pour wine into it, fill it with perfume. Even when the wine leaves the barrel, when the perfume is poured out of the barrel, the wood has absorbed the fragrance. And that's what happens when we live our lives. Fearing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, our body is sacred, is raised up. The resurrection of the dead is the necessary outcome of a body that has been thoroughly integrated, head and body. Not like Esav, whose head is removed, and only that part is buried in the Maris Machpelah in Hebron. Esav was completely unintegrated. So the church therefore embraces this dualism where physical pleasure is utterly incompatible with the spirituality and the divine. And therefore celibacy becomes a very important part of the church.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא